Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Let's do this, everyone. What's up? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to Speak Now Pro Wrestling. Today, it is the December 22nd edition of AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. That is right. We are officially in the holidays. It is Christmas week, and we are kicking things off with a very, very busy AEW week with lots of things that kind of went down on today's episode. We have Holiday Bash today, and then we also have a very special AEW Rampage Holiday Bash taking place on Christmas Day. But today's episode of Dynamite was incredibly fun. We kind of had so much that went down. We had a debut that a lot of people were expecting. We just didn't really know when it was actually going to happen. Like, a lot of us figured it was going to be happening today based on the tease that we got last week, but it officially happened. We got a big debut. On top of that, we had some really fun moments and just kind of a lot to get into, a lot of match announcements, so much to get into here today. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all of that and more in just a second. But before we get started, I want to welcome each and every single person onto the show. I appreciate you all making time to come out here and listen to what I've got to say about wrestling. And also, for those of you who are new to the stream, if you haven't yet before, if you're new, welcome. Thank you for giving me a chance. And secondly, this is a very interactive stream, so please feel free to take part in the chat. Send in some comments, send in some questions, send in your thoughts. I always love to get what you guys think about the show, what you guys thought about the matches, surprises, etc. So we're going to go ahead and talk about all of that here today. Additionally, if you want to make sure your comment, your question, or your statement gets read on the air, 100% guaranteed, you can send in a super chat. Not only does a super chat allow you to get your comment read on the air, guaranteed, but also F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of all the proceeds of super chats. So I make my money by getting super chats and all of that. So if you all want to help me out, please feel free to send those in, and I will make sure to read what you have to say. On top of that, let's go ahead and get this night started, everybody. We are getting things going with our first super chat of the day. So I want to thank so much to send some love to Dr. Sofia Bonilla, DWOEVP, who says, Feliz Navidad, aunque sé que no te gusta Navidad, te quería mandar un chat porque eres la mejor anfitriona. También es muy chistoso cuando haces a Shan traducir español. So thank you so much for sending me the Spanish meme. So, excuse me, the super chat in Spanish, testing my Spanish skills right now at the moment. But Sofia Bonilla just sent some love and wishes the happy holidays, etc. I appreciate the love from Sofia, sending it in Spanish. I appreciate it. All right, guys, so let's get into the show once again. Feel free to send in any super chats if you want to get your comments, question, or statement. And yep, they do help me out. So let's do this, everybody. So much. Also, before we get started, I do want to say something because I'm seeing it already in the chat. And before we kick off the stream, I do want to go ahead and send some love to Nyla Rose. And a lot of people, nothing happened to her, nothing like that or anything like that. But there was a very unfortunate sign in the front row on today's show. And I could only imagine how irritating it must be to be a performer, go out and try and do your job, and the first thing you see is like something really negative. And in the front row, got a really good moment on TV because that sign was up there for like a good chunk of time. Wish they would have caught it a lot faster, but if you're not looking at the signs, you're probably not catching things. So just shout out to Nyla Rose. It's not something that you want to see when you're about to get your work day started, especially because it kind of takes you out of what you're doing. So much love to Nyla Rose and kind of some of the, BS that people and performers have to sometimes deal with. But either way, so just a quick shout out to that. But we got a super chat from Dan Janoff, who says Dynamite was fantastic, top to bottom. All the matches and segments were great, but most importantly, AEW is officially undisputed. Boy, do we have so much to get into. So let's get into this, everybody. Here we go. Let's talk about this undisputed version, the Undisputed Era version of AEW, the AEW Undisputed Era version that we are getting right now on the show, which is absolutely nuts. A lot of us, obviously saw Kyle O'Reilly coming into AEW. A lot of us pretty much saw it coming, 10 miles away, whatever you want to say. We were all expecting it, especially when this tease was made last week, when they said, okay, we're going to have a surprise. What's the surprise going to be? Everybody has been keeping up with the news about Kyle O'Reilly's contract, him leaving WWE, his having his goodbye moment, essentially the same night as Johnny Gargano. His last farewell in NXT was the program that he did with Von Wagner, the steel cage match being the last thing that he did with the company. And now he is officially All Elite. If appearing on TV didn't confirm it enough for everybody and being put in a match, Tony Khan also confirmed it on social media. So it is official. Kyle O'Reilly is All Elite. But before we get to that, how this all essentially played out is we had Adam Cole, baby, versus Orange Cassidy. Now, it's still like we're here right now. We're going to be talking about Kyle O'Reilly coming into the company and how, that's very exciting because we're getting to see him reunite with his Undisputed Era stablemates, Adam Cole and Bobby Fish. And but here's the thing though, is that even though we're already moving on and we're getting these new debuts, it's still for a second, if you really think about it, guys, Adam Cole just got to AEW. This hasn't been like he's been there for an entire year. It's been a couple of months. So for me, even just kind of watching this match, Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy, there's still this moment where I'm thinking to myself, damn, Adam Cole's in AEW. It still kind of trips me out for a second because, as somebody that, is so used to also covering the WWE stuff and then seeing people jump ship, it trips me out. And the same thing with Bryan Danielson, etc. But it's just so crazy how much can actually happen in the world of wrestling. Additionally, Orange Cassidy has always been a fan favorite amongst AEW fans. So to kind of see him in the ring with Orange Cassidy kind of took me back a second where I'm like, if someone would have told me this last year or early this year that this was a match that I would be seeing, I would kind of just be like, damn, is this really going to happen? So just all of that being said, it's just interesting how much has happened. But either way, this match was an okay match. It was, the match itself was decent. We had a lot of near falls towards the end, so they built up nicely to this. We built up to we had a lot of really fun moments. So it kind of the match started out a little bit slow, a little bit steady. It just was your, regular average match. We got some interaction from the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler, who essentially come out, but then we see Best Friends come out and brawl with them. So they kind of get eliminated from this picture right away, so they don't take up too much time during this match. Then we kind of see some really nice back and forth action between Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole, including all of those moments in which we see Orange Cassidy hit the Michinoku driver, goes for a pin, but it's a near fall. He does a DDT off the top rope, goes for the pin, it's a near fall. Then we see Adam Cole hit the Panama Sunrise, go for the pin again, it's another near fall. Orange Cassidy then hits the beach break, goes for the pin again. It's another near fall. So we get a bunch of that. And then finally, once we actually get Bobby Fish comes out and he distracts the referee. As he's distracting the referee, we see Kyle O'Reilly come from behind Orange Cassidy and essentially takes him out. And then bam, that's officially Kyle O'Reilly's debut. And then from here, we see Bobby Fish, we see Kyle O'Reilly, we see Adam Cole essentially take out all these guys here. Then we see the Bucks come out, and this is where things get even more interesting. We see the Bucks come out, and they're kind of not really on the same page with Adam Cole. Nothing is said. This is all just kind of like a what the hell is going on moment, because you see on one side of the ring you got the Bucks, and then on the other side of the ring you got Bobby Fish, you got Adam Cole, you got Kyle O'Reilly, and they're kind of doing their things, and the Bucks are sort of like not on the same page, sort of left out of this. And so you're thinking, like, are they all going to, be on the same page together? Are they going to be friends? Are they going to coexist? What is going to happen? But then, without much being said, we see Cole go his own way with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and then we kind of see the Bucks stay behind. So it's kind of was their breakup. So I didn't expect any of this to go down. It's not necessarily the breakup. I didn't expect the breakup to go down. I was expecting Kyle O'Reilly, but I didn't expect the breakup to sort of happen kind of right away. And this to me was a breakup because they didn't, hug it out. They didn't, do any of that. So this was pretty interesting. Now, I want to get your thoughts, guys. How do you feel about Kyle O'Reilly coming into the company? How do you feel about the new direction in which we are going in, and sort of the AEW's version of the Undisputed Era? Are you all here for it? Send in your thoughts, everybody. Here we go. We got a super chat BTW from Taylor Cannon, who says, "Hey Denise, you're awesome. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Tonight was a real shock to the system. Also, much respect to Nyla Rose." Thank you so much, Taylor Cannon, for sending in the super chat and also shedding out some love. I appreciate that as well. So let's get some thoughts on what everybody's saying. Oh, we got some more super chats. Nice. This one is from Malcolm Mitchell, who says, "It will be glorious when Undisputed Era destroys the Bucks." It's going to be a pretty awesome match because all of those guys, and like the Bucks always have really great matches, and so does, Adam Cole and all those guys. They always have those really great matches, but to kind of see them like interact with one another, it's going to be like I imagine a nice fast-paced match there. We got a super chat from Ken who says, "Awesome show tonight. So happy to see Kyle O'Reilly is now all elite." It's so crazy too, because I don't know how many of you guys were actually watching NXT and like the last couple of months, especially with this change in what's been going on with the NXT. And it's so crazy because Kyle O'Reilly had that, recently hot feud with Adam Cole, and Adam Cole did so much to make sure to put over Kyle O'Reilly before he left NXT, because obviously, as you all know, Adam Cole left a whole lot sooner. So he did so much to like try to get him over, or like kind of keep him hot is what I'm trying to say, because he was already over, not to the extent of Adam Cole, but still hot on NXT. But then it was like they were kind of struggling trying to find out what to really do with Kyle O'Reilly. We even got cool Kyle O'Reilly, which just really wasn't working. And then once we started going into this direction of NXT 2.0, Kyle O'Reilly no longer really fit into NXT and to what they were doing. And, obviously his contract, was up. He decided not to re-sign with WWE, and now, he's out there doing something different. This definitely feels like the best thing for him, because, like I said, he just wasn't going to be fitting in no longer into this new version of NXT, and we knew that already based on what we were seeing even beforehand. Even this last, on his way out, putting over Von Wagner, even that was terrible. That steel cage match was probably one of like the worst steel cage matches that I had seen in a very long time. So that's just kind of to give you an idea of what Kyle O'Reilly was sort of, doing beforehand, and how this is probably was kind of the best option for him. And just to kind of be, reunited with Fish and with Adam Cole, pretty interesting, pretty darn interesting. All right, guys, send in some thoughts here, and I'm going to go through a couple of your comments and see what you guys are saying here. And this one is from Lenny, who says, "I don't think we're getting a breakup right away. Clearly, there's some tension between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole because of exactly where they left off. Cole's got the motivation to stick it to the Bucks for what they did to him 4 years ago. Also note, records reset as of the 31st, so it's entirely possible that Cole reunites with Kyle O'Reilly and Fish to go after Paige and the title." So yeah, like you can see today as a breakup, or you can see it as some tension. To me, it kind of felt like a breakup. It wasn't like an official breakup because there was no words really said, but it was kind of like he chose a certain direction to go, and it wasn't the same direction as the Young Bucks there. So let's see what we got here. Let's go through a couple of more comments here. How do you guys feel about Kyle O'Reilly in AEW? And all of that. Okay. Hitman Figs also says maybe some tension and everything, and then boom. Major Blood says there's just something funny to me about Orange Cassidy putting someone else's hands into his pockets. That's pretty good there too. And comment from Jason Woodrow, who says, personally, I can't wait until Kenny returns and we see the trios tournament, etc. Shabarn Moondra says, waiting for Adam to take his revenge on Bucks for poisoning him. Cameron Mumford says, behold, our major AEW storyline for 2022 has already begun. Gotta love it. This is awesome. Well, already, with the match announcements that were made for the New Year's Smash show, they announced some good stuff, and we'll talk about that later on, but they're kicking things off. They're kicking off 2022 pretty strongly. We get a super chat from William Buhner. Thank you so much to William, who says, me encanta cuando Denise habla español. Just wanted to let you know, great show tonight for AEW and The Grinch. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for sending in this super chat. And this was legitimately a fun show here tonight. Like, on paper, I thought the show looked good, but I think overall it worked out like even better, especially the first hour of AEW. They kind of packed in a lot, and I thought the first hour was like really good. The second hour was good too, but I think the first hour to me just felt a little bit stronger, but it held up the entire night. All right. Jesus. B Mon says it's official. NXT is the developmental of AEW. Teardrops. I don't know what to say. All right, guys, here we go. This is a comment from Devin, who says, was watching with a friend. They were saying they didn't expect any debuts right when Kyle popped up behind Omega. I think, had they not done that tease last week, I wasn't expecting to see Kyle O'Reilly today. But given that tease that they did last week, I was expecting it. And then also Tony Khan, when he did that interview, I think it was either on Busted Open Radio or CBS Sports, one of those interviews, I think it was Busted Open Radio, where he basically said, hey, there's going to be like a bunch of surprises, and they're going to be happening not just on Winter is Coming, but, on some of our other shows within the next coming weeks. And he listed a lot of the shows that are obviously coming up. So there you guys go. All right, guys, here we go. Let's go ahead and jump into our next topic here because we got so much to talk about. But once again, if you are here, if you're watching the show live, please feel free to send in your thoughts, and I will go ahead and pull through some of those and get your thoughts read on the air. Additionally, if you're watching the replay or listening to the audio version of this, you are more than welcome to submit your thoughts at any point. But now let's get into our next topic here. So we got Hangman Adam Page, Tony Schiavone, Bryan Danielson, and essentially this main title picture is continuing on. So we had already known that Bryan Danielson was still going to be the number one contender for the actual title. That was also revealed by Tony Khan following their time limit draw. So we still did not know exactly when this rematch was going to be happening, but we officially know now that they are kicking off 2022 with an AEW World Championship match between Hangman Adam Page and Bryan Danielson, and that is going to be taking place on the January 5th show of Dynamite. So this is going to be huge because this is it. This is going to be the official moment where we are going to be seeing an actual winner, okay? Like, if they were to, I don't know, we're going to get an actual winner, whether it's going to be Bryan Danielson or Hangman Adam Page. This isn't going to be one of those situations where you're like, okay, we didn't get a winner, but we got a really phenomenal match. We are going to have a phenomenal match, but we're also going to have an actual winner this time. So we had a really fun back and forth here between Paige and Bryan. And here's the thing that I kind of want to point out is that we've been getting a lot of good promo work, a lot of that good promo work coming from Eddie Kingston, CM Punk, MJF, and their promos are really good because they hit these like really good like one-liners, these really good zingers and all of that. But I want to put over Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page and what they've been doing on the mic these last couple of weeks, because even though they're not going out there with these like specific burns to one another, they are doing some really solid work on the microphone. Like, I really feel that Bryan Danielson is doing such a good job as a heel because he is so he's so savage. Like, he literally came out and mocked Hangman Page because prior to Bryan Danielson coming out, Hangman Page essentially told Tony Schiavone, you know what? I have never been more disappointed in myself than I was here tonight, than I was at last week during my time limit draw match. He said that he was disappointed in the way that things worked out because he didn't actually get the win, even though he knew that he just got in a couple more seconds, a couple more moments, he would have successfully defended his AEW World Championship. So he said that he was kind of, disappointed in himself. So he was unhappy about the things that occurred. And I like this because he should be unhappy. He should be disappointed because it's like, yeah, he went the 60 minutes, but at the end of the day, he didn't actually win. So I like that Hangman Adam Page came out and basically said he was disappointed in himself and, he wanted to do better. I love that. Makes perfect sense to me. So then you have Bryan Danielson coming out, and Bryan's such a douche, and he basically starts mocking him and telling Hangman Adam Page, like, you're just an entitled millennial cowboy. Like, look at you. You have the title and you're still upset. Like, you're still sad. What are you going to do? Cry? And he starts mocking Adam Page. And I'm just thinking to myself, this is freaking great because when Bryan Danielson was mocking him, I was loving it. So we kind of get, this back and forth. Bryan Danielson tells Hangman Page, like, dude, I kicked your ass for 60 minutes straight. I should be the champion. I should be the one that's upset, not you. And Paige just basically closes this out by saying, you know what? I put my blood and everything into becoming champion. I am the champion now. And this is, I'm not a B+ champion and I'm going to prove to you, et cetera, come when they have their match once again on January 5th. So I really feel that they are complementing each other really nicely with Bryan Danielson just doing great heel work. And again, like I said, mocking him as this, entitled millennial cowboy. It killed me. It absolutely killed me. So send in your thoughts, guys. How did you feel about this? How do you feel about the fact that we are going to be getting another match and we're going to be getting it so soon, literally just 2 weeks away? This is officially happening. And do you guys think that this is the official moment where either Hangman Page successfully defeats Bryan Danielson or Bryan Danielson successfully defeats Adam Page? Send in your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen? Let's get some thoughts in here. We got one from the Centrovert. He says, I love how savage heel Danielson is on the mic. It fits him so well. I freaking love it. It's so good. I'm like, yes, the meaner, the better. Please be mean, Bryan. I really appreciate it. BTW, guys, friendly reminder, if you want to send in a super chat, you do get your comment, question, or statement read on the air, 100% guaranteed. Brandon Rosen sends in a super chat saying, I don't like the idea of having judges. It doesn't sound like a definitive finish if it's left up to the arbitrary decision by some anonymous panel. Personally, I'm not crazy about the idea either because it could be like, we don't know how many judges, we don't know how or what or anything like that. So I personally, like, it's an interesting concept. I'm not like totally in love with it, but I don't hate the concept either. Like, I don't love it and I don't hate it. I'd rather have something more clear and definitive, but if you want to keep the story going, then that could be a way around it. So, I don't know. We'll see here. Let's see what we got here. This is a comment from Daniel Zambrano who says, This is a great match to kick off the TBS era. It's perfect. It's a perfect marker, and the booking up to it has been tremendous. It's been very, very interesting to see what they've been doing with that, especially as Hangman Page was literally the ultimate baby face right now, like the biggest baby face in wrestling that I can think of as of this moment. Definitely, obviously in AEW, but just in general though. And so let's see what we got here. This is a comment from Haj Gulashi who says, I'm happy for AEW heading into TBS2. It's a big show of confidence and should help them reach even more new people. Yeah, that's going to be very exciting. Again, as somebody mentioned, kicking off that TBS era. What better way to kick it off with your two of your best workers going at it, especially when they already have now a reputation of doing phenomenal work with one another. Chaotic Fantasy says, a thing that Bryan has been doing since turning heel that I really like is that he's still coming out of the face tunnel, which kind of goes with his narrative that he didn't turn heel. I never pay attention to that. I know a lot of people pay attention to what tunnels people come in and out of. I never pay attention to that. I don't know why. It's just something that I just don't focus on. And I know a lot of people focus on that, especially with Cody, but for some reason, I never even focus on that whatsoever. I don't know why. It just doesn't happen. Let's see what we got here, guys. Let's get some more comments. This one is from Pig Boy, who says, Page will win by pinfall. Judges will just be the red herring. M. Durrett says the judges will make it a safe space for Hangman to perform. Joshua Ryan suggests, I would love to see it as a cage match for Bryan and Hangman. Hitman Fig says, I want something fresh. I really don't want them to revisit something for Danielson. See, here's the thing. I don't mind that this is a rematch, because when you have a match so good between two guys, and especially with the way things ended, and that is a huge portion of the story is Hangman Page, even though he took a 60-minute beating from Bryan Danielson, the last couple of minutes, you can argue that he was about to win this match. You can definitely say that he was going to win this match, but you ran out of time, so you didn't get to finish the match. So now it continues that story. So you can argue, okay, we have a reason as to why we are essentially having an extension of this match and having a part 2, because they went to the limit, and hey, Bryan Danielson had most of this match, so you can argue that he was going to win it either way, or you can argue, no, Page was going to win it because he was about to win it because he was super close. So you can argue both sides of that. Thank you so much to Hangman Figs for also sending in that comment as well. All right, let's go through a couple more comments here. And this one's from Question the Mark, who says, I actually love that they had a 60-minute draw. WWE has ruined the minds of wrestling fans the last 20 years with crappy DQ finishes, etc. And I talked about this last week though, with the time limit draws. The only reason why I was in love with it was, one, I did want a definitive winner, and two, because we had already had that time limit draw with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson. And I think time limit draws should be a little bit more rare. And I know that too is rare still, but because they did happen not so far apart from each other, that was something that kind of played into my decision-making on that end. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move on from this, all right? Before we do, guys, I just want to remind you all, BTW, you're already here. If you haven't subscribed to F4W Online, please make sure to subscribe. We are well over 80,000 subscribers, and we are making our way to 100K. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button. You're already here. All right, let's get into this. What do we got next? MJF and the Pinnacle. So they do a quick promo backstage, and this is really just to kind of further Wardlow and everything that's going on with Wardlow. So PTW, shout out to the Burberry chair. Sean Spears got a Burberry chair to match MJF's Burberry scarf. I love that. The chair was definitely over for me, but this is basically them talking about the main event and how Sting and Darby and Punk, that they can't coexist, making a mockery of the can they coexist situation. And then prior to this, MJF was kind of getting aggressive with Wardlow, kind of yelling at him and being like, how much do I pay you to, help me out and this and that. But he cools down. He doesn't go all the way, but just enough to irritate Wardlow, who's already been irritated. And Wardlow was kind of just sitting there the entire time as the rest of the guys are, FTR and Spears and MJF, as they are all going off about how they are number one and the best and this and that. Wardlow's just chilling in the background, looking all down and super depressed. He comes out, he wins a squash match after hitting like 4 power bombs, and Sean Spears essentially does the same thing that he did last week by smashing the chair on his opponent. And basically, this now has turned into how much BS can Wardlow handle? How much can he handle? At what point is Wardlow going to say, that is it, I can't take this anymore, I am done, this is over and done with? At what point is this going to happen? We don't know, but that is the story now at this point, is how much patience does Wardlow have before he eventually snaps. And I think he's going to be snapping sooner rather than later. Send in your thoughts, guys. Any additional comments on Wardlow? We'll get to the main event and talk more about MJF and FTR later on. But let's see what we got here. Let's get some comments here. This one's from Major Blood, who says, they're really finally going forward with the slow burn of Wardlow turning on MJF. They have been seeds planted here and there since Wardlow debuted, but it's really nice to see that a turn is soon. And I like it, man. I like that they did these, that they planted these seeds and they did the slow burn, like you call it, the slow burn. Because we've been seeing it now for months. I feel like I've been talking about this now. And I like that because it rings true. I feel like in your real life, there are going to be people that irritate you, and it's not going to be like you're going to snap right away. You're going to be like, ugh, I'm sick of this person, and then they're going to keep bothering you, and they're going to keep pressing all your buttons just to trigger you until you finally snap. It's not going to happen overnight. So it feels legitimate that, okay, he's going to take a while, especially because him and MJF were legitimate friends, so they have history, and, he's dealt with his BS before. So how much more can he possibly take? All right, let's see what else we got here. This is a comment from Andrew Cook, who says, I would love it if Wardlow's turn on MJF starts in earnest because MJF bounces a check to him. That could be the final trigger point. Like, I could deal with your BS, but now that you're not paying me, I'm done. That would be kind of hilarious, actually. All right. And let's go through some more comments. Someone predicts that Lenny predicts that by next year Wardlow will flip. I think it'll happen a lot sooner, within like the next month. If in the next month he hasn't yet lost his mind and is done with MJF, then I don't know how much longer that's going to take. I would say within the next month. We got a comment here from NC Delaney, who says, so I feel like the split happens at MJF's next world title match, where MJF snaps on Wardlow when he wants the ring, and then Wardlow just power bombs MJF to death. And that's the key thing as well, is that what have they been really putting over about Wardlow? They've been really putting over those power bombs. They've been putting those over. That's been his squash matches that he's been having. Just power bomb, power bomb, power bomb, power bomb. So chances are he's going to power bomb the frick out of MJF. All right. Thank you so much to NC Delaney. We got a comment here from Hitman Figs, who says, when Wardlow turns on MJF, it's going to be glorious. The crowd is already hot on Wardlow. He's kind of over, and he's going to go to the moon once he's free from the shackles of the MJF. Haj Gulashi says, I'll say, I had higher hopes for the Pinnacle. Then losing the Inner Circle feud, and then MJF losing to Jericho weren't how I would have went with them. I completely agree. I still to this day, and I know a lot of people probably won't agree with this, but I still to this day think that MJF should have defeated Chris Jericho. He should have defeated him. Sorry, that's the way that should have gone. I think that whole entire thing was it was a little bit strange the way that they told that whole story. I think that they teased the Inner Circle breaking up too much and then didn't actually do it. And then out of nowhere, they weren't seen together anymore. And then they came back together and it was just, I think I also expected a little bit more for the Pinnacle, because the way that they formed when they did the swerve on top of the other swerve on top of the other swerve, when they did all of that, I felt that the way the Pinnacle was formed was really, really strong. And so I kind of wanted them to keep that the remainder of this time. And I liked a lot of what they did with the Inner Circle, but I think that they could have been protected a lot more, even more so than the Inner Circle, because I think the Inner Circle was sort of, coming down to their last days. And they really were, because look at them now. They're not, they're still, and they addressed this already. Like, we're still the Inner Circle. We're still, teammates, etc. We're still going to come together whenever we need to, but we also are dealing with our own stuff. But the Pinnacle is more together than the Inner Circle, at least from what we've been seeing, these past couple of shows. Thank you so much to Haji Galashi for sending that thought in as well. Alrighty, everybody, but let's get into our next topic here. Before I do, everyone, actually, let's get into these matches that were announced, because we had a lot of matches announced, and I might as well go through them now and then continue on for the rest of the show. So this Christmas Day, I will be back here. I won't be live Friday night, but I will be live Saturday night. So Saturday night, we have a special edition of AEW Rampage Holiday Bash. So the holiday fun continues on Christmas Day. And so I will be live immediately following Rampage, and I will be talking about Rampage. And I'm also going to be talking about the must need to know moments of SmackDown. So whatever super important happens on SmackDown, I will be talking about that on the show, and then obviously focusing and also on Rampage, etc. So Rampage matches that have been announced that are going to be taking place on Christmas Day. We got Sammy Guevara versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. I will tell you that I don't really know where they're going with this. Like, part of me thinks that Cody's going to become champion again, but then I'm like, dude, they should really still keep the belt on Sammy Guevara, because Sammy legitimately just won that like a few weeks ago. So I don't want to see Sammy lose, but then I'm like, what if they just have Cody become champion again? I don't know, man. I think they might do it to trigger the people and continue that whole story, but then I don't want them to end Sammy's title reign. So I don't know what is going to happen there. Then we have Jungle Boy versus Isaiah Cassidy. That should be fun. We also have Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander, two women that are, pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to their match as well. And then all I want for Christmas is Hook. We got Hook versus Bear Bronson. Hook's second match on AEW Rampage, and he is officially having this match with Bear Bronson. That's going to be pretty interesting, because Bear's a big guy, so we're going to see how Hook essentially maneuvers his way around a guy like Bear Bronson. So that's going to be a fun little matchup there. Some Hook for Christmas Day. So those are the matches that were announced for AEW Rampage. We also have some matches announced for New Year's Smash. New Year's Smash taking place, New Year. They announced Eddie, Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz will be all teaming up to take on Daniel Garcia and 2.0. That should be all right. Thunder Rosa versus Jade Cargill in the semifinals of the TBS Women's Championship Tournament. We'll talk more about that in depth later on. And then we also have Orange Cassidy teaming up with Best Friends to take on Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly. So from the looks of it, that will be Kyle O'Reilly's first match in AEW. So now, let's see what we got here. Before we jump into our next topic, we got people really excited about Hook. We got Devin saying, I want to see Hook throwing them around. Shia says we will see Hook sell against Bear Bronson. And then we just got a bunch of Hook comments. All right, guys, let's jump into the rest of this show, because we still got quite a bit to get into. Before we do, friendly reminder, guys, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to F4W Online here on YouTube. But now, let's get into Dan Lambert and the Men of the Year. Here's my question to everybody. I want to get into the mind of Dan Lambert. I want to know how he prepares for these promos. What does he study? What does he look at? What does he get for inspiration? Because some of the stuff that he says on here, I think is absolutely hilarious. I know a lot of people don't like Dan Lambert. I like Dan Lambert because he puts out some funny stuff. This was good stuff. I liked this promo. He essentially just came out and started talking about fairness. He basically talked about how he runs his gym and he does it in a fair manner. And then he compares it to the way that Tony Khan runs AEW. And he says that Tony Khan doesn't run AEW with fairness, that he runs it on the buddy system. He says Tony Khan only hires his friends and says if you're buddies with Tony Khan, you become EVP. If you're not buddies with Tony Khan, well, you don't get much. He puts over Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page, and then he basically even hits a line with, he even says that Cody is a bigger DICK than he is. This was good, guys. I love this. I love this because this is a legitimate, thing that people have said about AEW, about the whole buddy stuff and the friend stuff. This is something that people have legitimately been saying on the interweb. So Dan Lambert bringing it up during this promo to me was hilarious. I loved it. It made for a good promo. It made for some good stuff here. In terms of where they're going with this, I think at this point, just keep building up Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page as a tag team because I do like them as a tag team, want to see them do more. And I like seeing Dan Lambert, every now and then come out and essentially talk on their behalf. But let's see what we got here, guys. So a lot of people for a while have not been liking Dan Lambert being the mouthpiece. And we got a comment from Shia LaCook who says, all ego is wasted on the sidelines. This has also been something that has been brought up here before, is that Ethan Page is good on the mic, and so is Scorpio Sky. They don't necessarily need Dan Lambert, but Dan Lambert brings something different, I think, to the mic than what Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page would bring, but at the same time, they don't necessarily need him, but I know how people feel about this because it does sometimes feel, especially when they did the whole American Top Team thing, that kind of felt like Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page were sort of shoved to the side of the story. But yeah. Andrew Cook says, I'm not a Lambert fan generally, but I loved this line about how he was supposed to get people to cheer for Cody, and that's an impossible mission. That was funny. That was hilarious. I got to give him credit for that because that was pretty funny. We got a super chat from Brandon Rosen. Thank you so much to Brandon, who says, I love Dan Lambert, but as funny as it was, this went way too long, and I still don't see what's so special about Men of the Year that I should care. And that's the problem. That is the problem, because like I said, the focus was not on them when they did that story with the Inner Circle and American Top Team. The focus was on everybody else, or a little bit on everybody. So it wasn't like, I don't necessarily think that Men of the Year got more over. I think they kind of just stayed the same. So if you weren't really a fan of theirs, you're kind of just there where you still are. Your feelings are probably exactly the same about them. They're not worse or better. They're just exactly the same. So in that sense, they do got to let them do their own thing a little bit more. They don't always have to have Dan Lambert. But like Chaotic Fantasy says, Lambert has no chill. He has no chill. I love that stuff, man. But we got Church of Platinum saying Men of the Year deserve better. Let's see what else we got here. Danny Leonard says Scorpio Sky definitely has that star potential. He does. He always has. And they've done a lot with Scorpio Sky. He has a pretty nice little history there with AEW. Let's see what else we got here. This is from Chris, who says that he would like to see Men of the Year turn on Lambert and go by themselves to join the Hardy office. I don't even think that they have to join anybody. Like, they could just turn on Dan Lambert and be like, all right, bruh, you were good for a hot sec. We done. I'm okay with that. That would be A-okay. A-okay. Alrighty, everybody. Friendly reminder, if you want to get your question, comment, or statement read on the air, feel free to send in a super chat. I will make sure your comment gets read on here. Additionally, F4W Online does allow me to keep 100% of all proceeds from super chats. So if you want to help me out, feel free to send in a super chat, and I will make sure to read your comment as we go throughout the show. But if not, you can still take part in the chat. Send in some comments, because I do read non-super chat comments as well, to make sure that people get their opinions heard on this show. All right, guys, let's go ahead and continue on, because we still got so much more to talk about. Holiday party. We got a quick holiday party between Tony Schiavone, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Rebel. And freaking Britt Baker, man. This girl. This girl is so smooth on the mic. She is so smooth with her promos. It is absolutely insane how good she is. She basically, Tony Schiavone is asking her about how she's never been beaten Riho, that she's never been able to beat her. So obviously Britt Baker is irritated by this, and she basically says that that she's made her own throne, that she's made her own kingdom in AEW, that she is one of the pillars of AEW, and basically just mocks that Riho is pretty much nothing, and that she's out of her league. And then she even uses a freaking line from A Christmas Story where she says, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." So I thought that was a really funny way to sort of close out that promo, and it came out so nicely. That was fun. Fun little holiday party promo by Britt Baker. Good stuff. Twitchface4 says Britt's shirt was the elf from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer who wanted to be a dentist. I knew that shirt had to mean something. I knew it, but I did not know what. So thank you for bringing that up, because I wanted to know what that shirt meant. So thank you. I knew she didn't wear it just for fun. I knew it wasn't just like a random shirt. Cheeky Monkey, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. I thank you very much. Cheeky Monkey says, Feliz Navidad to the biggest babyface since Renee Young retired to write cookbooks. Jesus. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you sending in this super chat. I wish I could write cookbooks too, but I can't cook nothing. Thank you so much, Cheeky Monkey. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into this. We had a really nice tribute, everybody. A nice tribute to Owen Hart. As we all know, we are getting the men's and women's tournament for the Owen Cup that they're going to be doing. And we know that this is officially culminating next year. It's going to be starting next year, and it's going to culminate at Double or Nothing. So at Double or Nothing, we'll be seeing a men's winner and a women's winner for the Owen Cup. So this was really freaking nice. Like, we still don't know much details about the tournament itself. Like, that's really all we know, the men's and the women's, and when it's starting and when we're going to be seeing the finals. But in terms of like who's in it and all of the other, finer details, we'll find out eventually. But this was really nice, everybody. They did a really good job at not just showing or not just explaining the legacy, the in-ring legacy of Owen Hart, but also who he is or was as a person. So that was really nice. They had people like Mark Henry who came out and talked, and Mark Henry basically said, he shared one of his fondest memories from Owen Hart, basically saying that that Owen Hart told him, let people rib you, but make sure to rib them back. I thought that was really funny that he added that, little bit. Adam Cole came out and he was basically talking about Owen Hart's work ethic and how he inspired him, and how Adam Cole essentially, watched his work in Japan and really just watched his work in general as a professional wrestler. Matt Hardy came out, and Matt Hardy was talking about how, smaller guys, how Owen Hart was essentially that guy with that basically promoted that smaller guys were also, more acrobatic and important. And he basically talks about, the meaning of that and, Owen Hart's size and all of that in this package. Then we also see 2.0. We see Eddie Kingston come out. We see Sean Spears, and they all really just say different nice things about Owen Hart. So this was really nice. It was kind of exciting to see, especially because they showed all of this footage of Owen, and it was nice. It was just very, very nice, and I can't wait to see the tournament. I think it's going to be very, very feel good. And all right, let's see what else we got here. This one's from Hitman, who says, I like how AEW is handling the Owen Cup right now. I can't wait for it to start. Yeah, it's tasteful. It's tasteful. It's going to be nice. Justin Martin says, beautiful video package. Owen left an incredible legacy. Shia says, I was blown away by how good the footage looked. Yeah, honestly, it was very nice. Very, very nice. Alrighty, everybody, we got 3 more things to talk about. One of them being the TBS Women's Championship Tournament. So we got the semifinals today. One of the semifinal matches, which was Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho. This was cool. This was fun little match. This was a nice little aggressive battle between 2 women who really just wanted to become the first ever TBS Women's Champion and make it to the finals. So you had Nyla Rose going straight for the attack on Ruby Soho, literally getting her with a bunch of like body shots right off the bat of this match, targeting that midsection right away. Then they ended up on the outside, and Ruby Soho just got like next level aggressive, literally just started headbutting Nyla Rose continuously. That looked really, really phenomenal. And then there's a moment where Vicky distracts the referee, and Nyla ends up hitting the beast bomb on Ruby Soho. And for a second, I thought that was going to be it. I thought Nyla was going to win this match because I have my prediction, and I'll share that in a second. But I thought she was going to win this match. But in the end, we end up seeing Ruby Soho get the win, and now she's moving on to the finals. And she's either going to be facing Thunder Rosa or Jade Cargill. Thunder Rosa and Jade Cargill will be having their semifinals match at New Year's Smash. And then Ruby Soho will be facing one of those 2 women. So with that being said, I still think, okay, so even though I want to see Thunder Rosa win this tournament, I still have a feeling that it's going to be Jade Cargill. So now that Ruby Soho won, I do definitely think that it's going to be Jade Cargill and Ruby Soho. Like, that's what I think they're going to go. If I was booking this as a fan, I still would want it to be Thunder Rosa versus Ruby Soho because they still have, you know, their history and all of that. Ideally, I would want Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho. But I think we're going to get Ruby Soho, Jade Cargill, with Jade Cargill essentially winning the entire tournament. Because this really just feels like this bout, this championship was made for her. And based on how they have been building up Jade Cargill and how they've been protecting her, I feel like they've been doing it so that she can become the first TBS Women's Champion. So that's the direction I think they're going. And that's just kind of how I feel they're going. That's the direction I think they're heading in. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that it's going to be Ruby Soho, Thunder Rosa, Jade Cargill? Who do you think is going to be in the finals, etc.? Go ahead and send in some thoughts here. We got a super chat from Brandon. Thank you so much to Brandon, who says, "I love the Owen Hart tribute. There were kind thoughts from the roster and all the clips from Owen in Japan and way back to Stampede Wrestling that I had never seen before. Well done." It was a very, very nice. Like, I want to go back and watch it to go back and see some of those clips that were shown. All right, let's get some thoughts on the TBS tournament and who you guys think is going to be winning here. Alrighty, and this one is from Lance Davis, who says, "Jade is so over with me. Love her presence and presentation." The Cooge 97 says Thunder Rosa is the heir apparent to Britt. Thunder Rosa will be PWI's #1 pound for pounds, #1 for 2022. It's her year. That's the Cooge's prediction. And our Rig says, "This makes me think Ruby is beating Jade for the title. Jade just isn't ready." I still think it's going to be Jade, guys. I think it's going to be Jade. We got a comment from Bruce, who says, "AEW doesn't always do face versus heel. We got Rosa versus Ruby at the end of the Women's Rumble. Think we're getting it again in the TBS finals." Justin Martin says, "Really good match. Seeing Ruby pulling Nyla down from the top for her finish was cool and different." Devin predicts that Jade will be winning the title undefeated. It makes it hard to book her to lose. Exactly. I definitely think she's going to be winning and continue on with the bitch show. All right. Let's see if we got any more other comments here. And this one's from C Money, who says, "Ready or not, Jade is getting the strap and a nice 6-month reign." This is a comment from Chris, who says, "I think Thunder Rosa is going to win because she can then face her Mission Pro women and put the belt on the line, whereas I feel Jade may not be ready to make everyone else look good in title matches yet." Yeah, she's still like, I don't think Jade is at that level yet where she can, put on like the type of matches that Thunder Rosa would be able to put on, or Ruby Soho. But I still think that given the way that they're protecting her, I do think that she's going to be the one. Shia says, I love Jade. Can't teach that power and speed. And she's got a phenomenal look. A very, very phenomenal look. Russell Ward says Jade has a pin over Rosa, so I think Rosa becomes the first person to beat Jade. We got a super chat from Heidi Ho. Thank you so much to Heidi, who says, Ruby's jacket getting stuck was kind of funny. Hashtag jacket time. My goodness. Thank you so much to Heidi Ho for sending in that super chat. Alrighty, guys, let's get into the rest of this show. We got two more things to talk about. The next one is Malachi Black versus Griff Garrison. This was okay. This was an okay little match. It's still super random, though. Like, it just feels so random still. Black still, misting Julia Hart. We still don't even know why he did that. I mean, we can have an idea, but we still don't really know why. You haven't even been given an update on Julia. Like, how is Julia doing? Can she see what's going on? We don't really know. All we know is that Griff Garrison was more mad than Brian Pillman Jr. was. Griff Garrison got himself into this match with Malachi Black, and it didn't really end up going his way. So he was angry, but not angry enough to get the win. Black is distracted at the top of this match by Brian Pillman Jr. So Griff Garrison ends up hitting a tope suicida at the top of this match. We see Black get a heel hook right away on Griff Garrison, but Griff Garrison gets to the ropes right away. Black ends up hitting him with a killer knee strike to the chin, which I thought practically took Griff Garrison's head off, but it brings him down. Black then locks in a Boston leg crab, and that is how he ends up getting the win. Towards the end, Brian Pillman Jr. comes in, tries to help Griff Garrison. Black hits him with the black mass, and that is pretty much the end of that. So it kind of felt like, all right, it was just a little story for Malachi Black to get a match and get another win. But we'll see what happens here. We'll see if he ends up doing something more with these guys. We'll see. Let's see if we got any good comments on this. This one's from Daniel, who says, love this match. Malachi looked like a monster, and Griff had a bunch of great moments in offense. Pillman took the best looking black mass in a while. Yeah, took a really nice one. Andrew Cook says this match made more sense when they started talking about Griff being from so close to Greensboro. Hometown babyface getting beat up by Black makes sense for Black's character. Yeah, they did. I didn't even realize that was his hometown or anything like that, but they did mention the jacket and all of that. Shia says, I'm all for goth Julia Hart. She's going to come in and have her goth moment. I'm all here for that too. Especially because, yeah, it would be great. All right. Let's get into, we got a comment from Chaotic Fantasy who says, I really like that Griff went straight for Black after the bell rung. It really fit the attitude he showed last week. Imagine they would have done a lockup instead. Dear Lord. Thank you so much to Chaotic Fantasy for sending in that comment. The Scared Centrovert says, I know it's random, but it's cool as long as they keep Black a loner and away from Andrade. All right, let's get into our main event, guys. Main event time. Who would have thought that in 2021 we'd be seeing Sting teaming up with CM Punk and Darby Allin? Like, seriously, put that together. Like, who would have thought? And then on top of that, Sting coming out with CM Punk themed face paint and a CM Punk t-shirt. Who the hell? Who would have predicted that? Legitimately, like, who predicted that? Nobody did. CM Punk coming out with his own face paint as well. Darby too. They were all having fun with the face paint, sort of swapping characters, swapping lives. It was phenomenal. You had CM Punk with the Sting face paint and the freaking Sting tights as well with the scorpion. It was pretty cool. Kind of a mind trip, to be honest. And then on top, so they went on and they faced FTR and MJF. This was a fun little match, guys. Like, this was fun. On top of all the face paint stuff, that was cool. But the match itself kind of had some really fun moments. And also, I want to put over commentary tonight because they were just having a blast. Taz was literally just kind of wilding on commentary. He was saying all of this stuff and just like popping me literally left and right. One of those was when MJF literally ran out and just started running up the stairs, like running away from the match. And CM Punk goes after him and starts chasing him up those stairs. And commentary is talking about how oh, they're gonna get blown up, this and that. They're probably blown up. And Taz is like, man, I blew up just watching that. Dude, that was freaking hilarious. Like, so funny. And then so that was a good little moment that we got there. On top of this, we basically see for the beginning of this match, we see FTR and MJF kind of get the best of Darby Allin, but then we finally see Sting get the hot tag. Once he gets the hot tag, he has some really funny, some really cool moments during this match. He literally grabs Dax's face and just starts smashing his face into all the turnbuckle pads, and he literally gets like all three of them and just continually smashes his face. That was phenomenal. We see him hit a spine buster on MJF. He then does the splash on both members of FTR, and then we see CM Punk finally get into this match. He goes back and forth with Dax, throwing back and forth left and right punches to one another. So that was pretty cool. And then after this, we see what the hell was I putting? MJF. Ooh, I don't understand what I wrote on my notes, guys. Oh, I wrote MJF dot Sting. And Sting, okay, thanks. I was like, what the hell is dot? MJF DDT Sting, and Sting literally no-sells this. This was phenomenal. Sting just gets up right into MJF's face. MJF throws Sting out of the ring and onto the members of FTR. That was pretty funny too. And then Sting just gives zero Fs, goes to the top rope, bam, does the crossbody right onto freaking all these on MJF, FTR, etc. And then we see Punk, Sting, and Darby all hit their finishers, and they end up getting the win. This was a really fun match, kind of like a feel-good holiday match with like three of your favorite baby faces in Punk, Darby, and Sting. And then, MJF. Well, he's not your favorite babyface, but you get what I'm saying. Bunch of your favorites. It was a good time, good moments, etc. Final super chat that I will be reading of the day. This one is from Daniel Zambrano, who says, Feliz Navidad. We got a couple more. Okay. Last call for super chats, everybody. Daniel Zambrano says, Feliz Navidad sounds just like Denise Navidad. So use that if you wish. Thanks for all the great content and have a great holiday. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate you coming on here, sending a super chat. I really appreciate it. We got another one from Killer Mike 375 who says, Taz was absolute gold tonight. I feel like CM Punk and MJF running around was just to troll the people that said CM Punk was out of shape. Dude, I didn't think about that. I didn't put two and two together on that. You might be onto something, dude. I ain't running no freaking steps and coming back. I ain't doing a match, running the hell up some steps, running back down some steps, going in and finishing some match. Bro, I could barely go up like two. I get on my bed and I'm blown up. Like, it ain't happening, man. But anyways, thank you for the super chat. And yeah, Taz was definitely gold tonight. I mean, he always is. And he even made a joke about CM Punk. No, he even made fun of CM Punk for being number 2 on Pro Wrestling Tees, because if you guys saw that story, Hook on his debut week topped CM Punk as the number 1 seller on Pro Wrestling Tees. And so obviously Taz brought that up. I thought that was phenomenal too. Alrighty, guys, there you go. That was AEW Dynamite Holiday Bash. I will be back Saturday on Christmas Day to talk about Rampage and major moments of Smackdown. So please make sure you guys tune in for that. On top of that, I will be back next week again for Tuesday. I will be talking about NXT 2.0. Wednesday, I'll be talking about Dynamite. Friday, we'll be back to talk about Smackdown and Rampage and all of that good stuff. If you guys enjoyed my show, please, I beg you, share it with your friends. Let people know it's a good time. The only way this show is going to continue to grow is with your support. Help me out, guys, whenever you can. Retweet, share the links, etc. Tag me. I will make sure to retweet you. All of that. Give this video a like, leave a comment, spread a good word. And then also, guys, so I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, and I might have said this on We're Live, pal, but tomorrow morning, I'm literally doing one of my biggest interviews from this whole year. I scored a massive interview, and I'm so nervous. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. I'm a little nervous about it. Like, I'm feeling pretty anxious. I haven't been this nervous about an interview in like a really long time, but I'm looking forward to it. And if all goes well, it will be up Friday. Keep an eye out for it. I'm very, very excited about it. I won't give away any spoilers yet. Just get excited. Last super chat. This one is from Mid Runner, who says, Denise is a goddess. Mission Pro commentary. Thank you so much. Commentary is so much fun, and I'm glad I did it. I appreciate your super chat. Alrighty, everybody. I'm out. I'll see you guys on Christmas Day. Goodbye.